Imagine having a superpower that makes you completely immune to other people's nonsense. No more sleepless nights thinking about what someone said. No more rage-filled commutes because of terrible drivers. No more letting toxic people live rent-free in your head. Today, we're diving deep into ancient Stoic wisdom and modern psychology to give you practical tools that will transform how you deal with difficult people and situations. Get ready to become emotionally bulletproof. Topic 1. The true nature of anger. Let's start by understanding what actually happens when you get angry. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, and your body floods with stress hormones. But here's the kicker. This response was designed for actual life-threatening situations, not for dealing with annoying coworkers or social media trolls. Modern neuroscience shows that anger activates the amygdala, the primitive part of your brain responsible for fight or flight responses. While this was useful when facing prehistoric predators, it's actually hindering your success in today's world. The most fascinating part is that anger isn't caused by external events. It's caused by your interpretation of those events. This isn't just philosophy, it's a psychological fact that forms the foundation of cognitive behavioral therapy. When you get angry, you're essentially drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Research shows that chronic anger significantly increases your risk of heart disease, weakens your immune system, and can even shorten your life expectancy. The Stoics understood something profound. Anger is a confession of weakness. When you get angry, you're admitting that something has the power to disturb your peace of mind. This realization alone can be transformative. Consider this. Every minute you spend being angry is 60 seconds of happiness you'll never get back. The time and energy wasted on anger could be channeled into productive activities that actually improve your life. Most people believe that anger is something that happens to them, but it's actually something they do to themselves. This distinction is crucial because it moves you from a position of victimhood to one of control. Anger often masquerades as strength, but it's actually a sign of lack of control. True power lies in maintaining composure when everyone else is losing theirs. The cost of anger extends beyond physical health. It damages relationships, impairs decision-making, and can derail careers. One moment of unchecked anger can undo years of hard work. Understanding anger's true nature is the first step to mastering it. Once you see it for what it is, a self-destructive habit rather than a necessary response, you can begin to dismantle its power over you. Topic 2. The illusion of control. Here's a mind-blowing truth. Most of your anger comes from trying to control things that are completely outside your control. Traffic jams, other people's opinions, the weather, these are all beyond your influence, yet they probably trigger you regularly. The Stoics divided everything into two categories: things within our control and things outside our control. The secret to peace of mind is focusing exclusively on what you can control and accepting everything else as it is. Think about the last time you got angry. Was it about something you could actually control, or were you raging against reality, demanding that the world bend to your preferences? This illusion of control is deeply ingrained in human psychology. We consistently overestimate our ability to influence external events and other people's behavior, setting ourselves up for frustration and anger. Modern life has only amplified this problem. Social media gives us the illusion of control over our image. News feeds make us think we should have opinions about everything, and technology makes us believe we should be able to control our environment perfectly. The paradox is that letting go of the need to control everything actually gives you more real control. Control over your responses, your peace of mind, and your emotional state. When you stop trying to control what you can't, you can focus your energy on what you can actually influence. This shift alone can eliminate 90% of your daily frustrations. This doesn't mean becoming passive or accepting injustice. It means being strategic about where you invest your emotional energy and recognizing what battles are worth fighting. The ability to distinguish between what you can and cannot control is like having an emotional filtering system. It prevents unnecessary stress and anger from even entering your system. This understanding sets the foundation for everything else we'll discuss. Without it, you'll continue to waste energy, fighting unwinnable battles, and getting angry about things you can't change. Topic 3. The power of perspective. Now let's talk about something that can instantly diffuse anger: perspective. The same situation can trigger rage or remain completely neutral, depending on how you look at it. Consider traffic. One person sees it as a personal attack on their schedule, while another sees it as an opportunity to listen to audiobooks or practice patience. The situation is identical. The only difference is perspective. The Stoics practiced an exercise called negative visualization, imagining how things could be worse. This isn't pessimism. It's a powerful tool for maintaining perspective and reducing anger when things don't go as planned. Every situation that makes you angry can be viewed from multiple angles. The person who cut you off in traffic might be rushing to the hospital. The rude cashier might have just received devastating news. The key is developing the habit of considering other perspectives. Zoom out further. In the grand scheme of the universe, how important is this moment really? Will this matter in a month? A year? 5 years? Most things that trigger anger become insignificant when viewed from a broader perspective. Modern psychology confirms that cognitive reframing, changing how you think about situations, can dramatically reduce anger and stress. This isn't just positive thinking. It's about seeing reality more clearly and completely. Developing perspective requires regular practice. Start with small annoyances and gradually work your way up to bigger challenges. Each time you successfully shift your perspective, you strengthen this mental muscle. Remember that your current perspective is just one of many possible interpretations. It's not necessarily the most accurate or useful way to view the situation. The goal isn't to always find the positive in everything. It's to see things as they truly are, without the distortions of anger and emotional reactivity. Perspective is like a mental zoom lens. You can zoom in on details when necessary, but you can also zoom out to see the bigger picture. This flexibility is crucial for maintaining emotional balance. Topic 4. The response gap technique. Here's where we get extremely practical. Between any trigger and your response, there's a gap. Most people never notice this gap. They react automatically, but this gap is where your power lies. The key is to gradually expand this gap between stimulus and response. Start by simply noticing that the gap exists. When something triggers you, pause for just a moment before reacting. As you practice, you can extend this gap from a fraction of a second to several seconds or even minutes. This gives you time to choose your response rather than react automatically. During this gap, take a deep breath. This isn't just feel-good advice. Breathing actually triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, calming your fight-or-flight response. Use this gap to ask yourself key questions. Is this worth getting angry about? What's another way to look at this? What would my wisest self do in this situation? The response gap technique becomes more powerful with practice. What starts as a conscious effort eventually becomes an automatic habit. This technique is particularly effective in professional settings, where emotional control can make or break careers. A single thoughtful response can be worth more than 1,000 reactive ones. Remember that the gap isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about creating space to process them intelligently rather than acting on them impulsively. The beauty of this technique is that it can be practiced anywhere, anytime, without anyone knowing. Every trigger becomes an opportunity to strengthen your emotional control. With consistent practice, you'll find yourself naturally responding rather than reacting, even in situations that would have previously triggered immediate anger. Topic 5. Emotional independence. Let's talk about something revolutionary: becoming emotionally independent. This means your peace of mind doesn't depend on other people's behavior or external circumstances. Most people are emotional slaves to their environment. Their mood goes up and down based on what others say or do, but you're about to learn how to break free from this pattern. The first step is recognizing that no one can make you feel anything without your consent. Your emotions are created by your thoughts and interpretations, not by external events. Emotional independence doesn't mean becoming cold or unfeeling. It means maintaining your emotional stability regardless of what's happening around you. This skill is particularly valuable in toxic environments where others try to provoke emotional reactions. When you're emotionally independent, their attempts to upset you become powerless. Practice starts with small things. Maintaining your good mood even when someone is in a bad mood. Staying calm when others are stressed. Remaining positive in negative environments. The key is developing strong internal references for your emotional state rather than relying on external validation or circumstances. This independence makes you more resilient to manipulation and emotional blackmail. When others realize they can't control your emotional state, they often change how they treat you. Remember that emotional independence is a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks, but each challenge is an opportunity to strengthen this skill. The ultimate goal is to maintain your emotional equilibrium regardless of external chaos or other people's attempts to disturb it. Topic 6. Advanced applications. Now let's explore how to apply these principles in the most challenging situations. These are the advanced techniques that separate masters from beginners. One powerful strategy is using triggers as growth opportunities. Every person or situation that angers you becomes your teacher, showing you where you still need to develop emotional mastery. Learn to recognize anger as an early warning system. Before it explodes, anger gives subtle signals. Catching these early warnings allows you to apply your tools before emotions escalate. Advanced practitioners develop the ability to observe their anger, almost like an outside witness. This metacognitive skill allows you to study your triggers without being controlled by them. The highest level of mastery is turning potential anger into fuel for positive change. Instead of getting angry at injustice, channel that energy into constructive action. Practice turning enemies into teachers. The people who trigger you most are actually helping you develop stronger emotional control once you shift your perspective. Remember that mastery isn't about never feeling anger. It's about processing it skillfully and using it constructively when appropriate. Advanced practice includes deliberately exposing yourself to triggering situations while maintaining composure. This is like emotional weight training. The goal is to reach a state where you can engage with any person or situation without losing your inner peace. True mastery is marked by consistency, maintaining emotional control not just in easy situations, but especially in challenging ones. Topic 7. The art of non-reactivity. Most people live in a constant state of reactivity, but true power comes from developing non-reactivity. This doesn't mean becoming passive, it means responding thoughtfully rather than reacting emotionally. Non-reactivity is like having a superpower in today's hyper-reactive world. While others are caught in emotional storms, you maintain your center and clarity of thought. The key to non-reactivity is understanding that most provocations are unconscious. People who trigger your anger are often acting from their own wounds and conditioning. Practice observing your triggers without immediately acting on them. Watch how emotions arise and dissipate like waves in the ocean of your consciousness. Non-reactivity requires developing a strong observer mindset. Instead of being caught in the drama, you watch it unfold with detachment and clarity. This skill is particularly valuable in conflict situations. When one person remains non-reactive, it often de-escalates the entire situation. Remember that non-reactivity isn't about suppressing responses. It's about choosing them consciously rather than letting them choose you. The practice begins with small daily irritations. Each time you maintain non-reactivity in these situations, you build strength for bigger challenges. One powerful technique is treating provocations as experiments. When someone tries to trigger you, observe your internal responses with scientific curiosity. The ultimate goal is to maintain non-reactivity, even in the face of direct provocation. This level of mastery comes through consistent practice and patience. Topic 8. Mental immunity building. Just as your body has an immune system to protect against physical threats, You can develop mental immunity against emotional triggers and provocations. The first step is identifying your emotional allergens, the specific types of situations or behaviors that consistently trigger your anger. Like physical immunity, mental immunity grows stronger through controlled exposure. Gradually expose yourself to triggering situations while maintaining emotional balance. Build a mental database of successful responses. Each time you handle a situation well, add that response pattern to your repertoire. Develop early warning systems. Learn to recognize the subtle signs that you're becoming triggered before anger takes full control. Practice preventive maintenance through regular mental hygiene, meditation, reflection, and conscious processing of emotional experiences. Remember that mental immunity isn't about becoming insensitive. It's about developing resilience and appropriate response patterns. Just as physical immunity can be compromised by stress, mental immunity requires regular maintenance and care. The goal is to reach a state where formerly triggering situations bounce off your mental immune system without causing disturbance. Building mental immunity is a lifelong practice, but each small improvement compounds over time. Topic 9. Social mastery. Let's explore how emotional control translates into mastery of social situations, particularly those involving difficult people. Understanding group dynamics is crucial. Often, anger spreads through social contagion. By maintaining your composure, you can break this chain reaction. Develop the ability to read situations before they escalate. Notice subtle signs of rising tension and address them before they become problems. Master the art of diplomatic responses. Learn to disagree without being disagreeable, to stand your ground without creating conflict. Practice strategic disengagement, knowing when to step back from potentially volatile situations without losing face or giving up ground. Remember that social mastery isn't about winning arguments. It's about maintaining relationships while preserving your peace of mind. Develop the ability to handle criticism without becoming defensive. This single skill can prevent countless angry exchanges. Learn to use humor appropriately to diffuse tense situations. Well-timed humor can transform potential conflicts into moments of connection. Practice empathy without absorption. Understand others' emotions without taking them on yourself. The highest level of social mastery is the ability to transform potential enemies into allies through understanding and emotional intelligence. Topic 10. The power of presence. Presence is your ultimate tool for maintaining emotional control. When you're fully present, anger has no place to take root. Most anger comes from living in the past, resentment, or future, anxiety. Staying in the present moment eliminates these sources of anger. Practice grounding techniques that quickly bring you back to the present moment when you feel anger arising. Develop awareness of your physical sensations. The body often signals rising anger before the mind recognizes it. Use presence to break the chain of reactive thinking that leads to anger. Each moment of presence is a fresh start. Remember that presence isn't just about feeling peaceful. It's about being fully aware and engaged with reality as it is. Practice presence in everyday activities, building the muscle for when you really need it. Learn to recognize when you're losing presence and have techniques ready to bring yourself back. The more present you become, the less power external triggers have over your emotional state. Presence is like a shield that protects you from both internal and external sources of anger. Topic 11. Long-term sustainability. Creating lasting change requires more than just techniques. It needs a sustainable approach that you can maintain over time. Build support systems that reinforce your practice. Surround yourself with people who value emotional intelligence and control. Develop routines that support emotional stability. Regular exercise, adequate sleep, healthy diet, and stress management. Create accountability measures to track your progress. Keep a trigger journal to identify patterns and improvements. Remember that setbacks are part of the journey. Each lapse in emotional control is an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. Design your environment to support emotional stability. Remove unnecessary triggers and create spaces that promote calm. Regularly review and adjust your strategies. What works in one phase of life might need modification in another. Maintain balance between challenge and rest. Push your limits, but also allow time for recovery and integration. Stay committed to continuous learning. The field of emotional intelligence is always evolving with new insights and techniques. Make this practice a core part of your identity, rather than just a set of techniques you use. You now have the tools to become emotionally bulletproof. Remember, understanding anger's true nature, recognizing what you can and cannot control, using perspective to diffuse triggers, mastering the response gap, developing emotional independence, applying advanced techniques. Start applying these principles today and watch how your life transforms when you stop letting others control your emotional state. If this video resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay updated on more practical wisdom. Share this with someone who needs these tools, and let me know in the comments which technique you're going to try first. Remember, every trigger is an opportunity to practice these principles. Let's build emotional resilience together.